Hi guys, in this exercise it's white's turn to move. And if you've done some of the other exercises in this series, then you already know that I won't tell you whether there is a tactic in the position or not. It's up to you to try figure out what the most likely objectives in the position are. But here's another thing that I also won't tell you. I won't tell you whether the solution to the exercise is easy or hard. Because if you were told that the solution is hard to find, then you will probably overlook some of the simple moves, when in fact one of those simple moves could actually be the solution. And similarly, if I told you the solution was easy, you probably wouldn't calculate the longer variations. And that is a problem, because you could easily develop lazy habits. And that's something you should avoid if you want to become a stronger chess player. So with that said, you can pause the video here and see if you can find the best move for white, or click the link below the video to see a high resolution diagram of the position. Okay, so let's look at the solution. As always, we start by thinking about our opponent's threats. Black is threatening to capture your queen, which is obviously a serious threat. But does black have any other threats? Queen takes f7 is not a threat because your queen on c4 indirectly defends the rook through x-ray. However, black is also threatening to capture the pawn on e3 and win a pawn, because after pawn takes e3 and pawn takes e3, black can play bishop takes e3 check and win a pawn. So now that you understand your opponent's threats, the next logical thing to do is to calculate whether there are any tactics that will also deal with these threats at the same time. And if you are familiar with the calculation method that I present on my website, then you will be looking at the likely targets in the position, which would be the knight, the king, and the black queen. And then you will try to identify motifs that take advantage of these targets. And you will calculate all the forcing moves. That means all the checks, all the captures, and all the moves that gain a tempo. And if you keep your opponent's threats in mind, you will understand that in this position you really only have two candidate moves from a tactical point of view. That means you can consider queen takes queen on e6, and you should also consider rook takes f8 check. If neither of these two moves work out well, then you will know that the tactics don't work and that you will need to find a defensive move. But before we even think about defensive moves, let's first see if any of the tactics work in our favor. If white plays rook takes f8 check, black will be forced to capture with the rook, which would leave the queen hanging, and white can then play queen takes e6, winning material. To conclude this video, I want to say that one of the most important aspects of improving your chess is of course to understand motifs. The motif that features in this position is known as removing the defender. The black queen had two defenders, the knight as well as the rook on e8. White got rid of the knight, an idea known as capturing the defender, and at the same time forced the black rook to recapture, an idea known as overloading the defender, since the rook can't defend both here and there. If you want to master all the important tactical motifs, then you can buy my video course on chess tactics. I'll leave the link in the description below this video. In the tactics course, I'll show you all the important motifs you should know, and I give many examples of each, so that you can be sure to get a very good understanding of all the important motifs. Of course, you will also discover many of these tactical ideas in the other exercises in this series. So be sure to check those out too. Thanks for watching. Cheers.